Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of my F1 Challenge career mode, and today we are looking at Brazil Interlagos, and we are hoping for a better Grand Prix this time out, but I'm now going to hand you over to the commentator.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Hakkinen is leading the Drivers' Championship and going for back-to-back victories here at Interlagos. Rubens Barrichello, second. Ralf Schumacher, third. Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the constructors next. McLaren lead the Constructors' Championship and are going for back-to-back victories here in Brazil. Stewart are second. Williams are third. Located within the southern suburbs of Sao Paulo, the bumpy Interlagos circuit consists of two very distinct sections. The first outer section combines two very long straights with fast sweeping turns, whilst the technical infield contains some very slow corners that demand absolute precision and leave no room for driver error.
Right, so we're going to jump straight into practice where we're rolling out for our first lap of Interlagos, and we've got 22 laps of fuel on board, so we're looking to see how this car handles with a lot of fuel on board, which it should handle better around Brazil than Australia, because I struggle with the slow corners while these are mainly medium speed corners. But we're on our first flying lap and we go round the last corner and we lose the back end, and then we do a spin, and then a Jordan, I think of Damon Hill or Heinz Harald Frentzen, just goes past us, and it's not the greatest start to our session, but we get our act together eventually and we set a 1:19.9, which is a long way off Schumacher, but we were in Australia, so we can expect that. We're going over the line for our second one. We've improved by a second to 1:18.9, which is looking okay, especially with 16 laps of fuel on board. A huge amount of fuel, a bit excessive amount of fuel to be honest. But around this track I found that the track was a bit unforgiving, as you can see there. I hit the wall. The wall seems to be pretty close, especially in the middle sector. But going up the hill on a later lap with a lot less fuel, we've got 3 laps of fuel on board, and we're behind Jarno Trulli on the road, but he won't get in the way to the line, and we're going to set a time that's probably over a second quicker than last time. It's a 1:18.0, so that's 9 tenths quicker, and Schumacher is just so fast. But we're going to jump into qualifying. As we look at the ambient temperature, it is lower than it was in practice by about 20 degrees, so the grip levels should be different. I noticed in this game there's a big difference in temperatures. But rolling out for our first lap then, we've got 5 laps of fuel on board, so we should be able to do a couple of flying laps, well at least. And here we are on our out lap, where I just give it the beans too much out of that corner and I lose it again. These silly errors. I did a lot of practice, but I just keep on making these silly errors around this track. I didn't make them so much in Australia. I guess that's due to how it is, but we're on our proper lap now, and we're going up the hill, where I then dip it in the gravel, and then I lose the back end, and I've spun around. Luckily I haven't actually made contact with a wall in qualifying yet, so I haven't got any damage, so I'll just get back on the road and get going. And you can see here in the instant replay, just going around that really fast right-hander, dip my rear left in the gravel, and that sent me into a tank slapper, which I tried to control, but I failed. But moving on later, we're on the next flying lap and we're improving. You can see in the top right by 10.8 seconds. So that's a pretty big improvement there, but we're going up the hill now. This is our third lap out of 12, and Giancarlo Fisichella has gone fastest. With a 1:19.5 we should be able to beat that quite comfortably. It looks like we are going to with a 1:17.8. And so our person congratulates us on pole, but then later on Rubens Barrichello sets a blistering time of 1:16.1. I don't know how he can set that in the Stewart. But we then go across the line and we're going to set a 1:17.6, which is going to be our best time. That's on our last lap if you look in the top right. But I'm now going to hand you over to the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to Brazil for round 2 of the 1999 FIA Formula One World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Michael Schumacher first. Coulthard second. Mika Hakkinen third. Schumacher was consistently faster than his teammate. He starts fourth. Barrichello fifth. Giancarlo Fisichella sixth. Trulli seventh. Herbert eighth. Olivier Panis ninth. The Williams driver endured a lackluster qualifying session and faces a tough start in the midst of the chasing pack. He starts 10th. Irvine 11th. Jean Alesi 12th. Villeneuve 13th. Hill failed to get anywhere near the pace of his championship rival, the Williams driver. Pedro de la Rosa 15th. Takagi 16th. Badoa 17th. Frentzen 18th. Zonta 19th. Diniz 20th. Wirtz 21st. Marc Genet 22nd.
Right, so we sit here on the start line for round 2 in Interlagos. We are on the intermediates. The track is wet. There is no rain forecast though, as we have the lights. We've gone to a poor start and we've lost the rear end completely. We've got no rear downforce it seems, and we've just gone straight into the wall. Have we got damage? We must have damage from somebody's hit us because we can't control the car. Yes, we've got no rear wing. This is terrible news. It's incredibly lengthy to replace the rear wing, and we're just about crawling along. I'm not sure who hit us at the start. We'll take a look at a replay in a minute's time. But this is just insane. I've got no rear downforce. I can't even put on the throttle, and I'm now comfortably in last place. I'm trying to reverse it and get it back on the track. But I think we're now going to take a look at a replay of the incident. Here's the start with Michael Schumacher on pole. Everyone gets away, and then you can see contact in the background. There's a rear wing, there's front wings going off, and I think it might be at the Sauber of Jean Alesi who hit me, and you can see me going into the wall because I can't keep it in a straight line with no rear wing. A very disappointing start to our Brazilian Grand Prix. It's going to be very difficult to get back from here, but looking in the rear wing from my perspective, and yep, the Sauber just cleanly drove straight into the back of me. I don't understand what he was doing. That was really stupid there. He just didn't let off the throttle. But yeah, you see here, just drive straight into the back of me, and that was totally stupid. He had space on the right hand side, but nope, he had to ruin my race, and he's probably ruined his own. But we're getting to the end of this lap, and then I lose it in that high speed. I mean, there's a really big impact with the wall, and the suspension must be severely damaged now. So we're going to have to see whether after the pit stop whether we can carry on this race, because our suspension is so damaged. This is not like F1, the Codemasters games. You know, I can't just get a quick front wing replacement and then the car will be 100% again. This is completely throughout the race if I want to carry on with this suspension damage. But we're going to pull into the pit stop now, and this is going to be one of the most lengthy pit stops you've ever seen, because they're going to change me onto soft tyres, because I felt that if I'm going to even get anywhere near the top again, I'm going to have to pit early for slicks and hope that suddenly the track just comes to me and the AI are a bit stupid and don't pit in time, so I gain loads of time with them. But the fuel is in, and we're now going to have a lengthy wait for our rear wing to be fixed. I know there's no animation on there, but we're just going to have to live with it not being there. But the thing which caught me off in practice a bit was that in Australia I pit in the wrong pit box. As you saw, I pitted in the Ferrari pit box. Well, this time around Ferrari is in front of Williams in the garage, so every single time in practice I came to pull into the pits, so I used to stop in front of the Ferrari guy before then driving through him. But it looks like we're finally getting going. Yep, there we go. We've got all the fuel we need, no stopping the rest of this race. But we overtake John Lazy, who is the guy who crashed into us, and look at that. Damon Hill is a minute down the road. This is going to be incredible if we can get anywhere back up, but we're going to have to see how this is on slicks and how bad the suspension is as to whether we carry on. But pulling out the pits now, the car isn't feeling the greatest. It won't go in a straight line. I crossed over the white line. There's no penalty for that though. But yeah, and you can see here from a third person perspective that yeah, I just spin out of that corner as soon as I get out of the pits, and the car is not liking these conditions. There's no spray which comes off the front wheels when you're on board, but there's loads on the back, as you can see. But we're now going on to our first proper lap, and then we spin. and because of our suspension we can't properly drive this car. And then Damon Hill, who's our championship rival according to the commentator on the grid, goes past us, and that's when I get the call from Frank Williams to retire the car. There's no point of carrying on, we're just going to be wasting our time. So we're pulling into the pits now for what is a very disappointing Grand Prix, and we will see what the race results are as to whether our teammate scores anything for Williams. But yeah, so I'm now going to hand you over to the race results.
At the end of an amazing Brazilian Grand Prix, here are the final results. Michael Schumacher first. Hakkinen second. Rubens Barrichello third. David Coulthard fourth. Heinz-Harald Frentzen fifth. Giancarlo Fisichella sixth.
Yep, so there we go. So Williams score absolutely nothing, but look at all of those problems that people had. My teammate went out with suspension damage, people had clutch, brakes, gearbox problems, which is why they went out the race. So that's pretty interesting stuff, and it's surely going to shake up the championship table a little bit, and at least I haven't lost any ground to my teammate, which I need to beat my teammate by the end of the season. But we're now going to look at the driver standings.
With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Hakkinen extends his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship.
Okay then, so Hakkinen retains his lead in the championship, and I've fallen well down obviously with scoring no points.
McLaren move further ahead at the top of the Constructors' Championship.
But McLaren are well ahead, and we have to just look forward to the next Grand Prix, which will be in San Marino. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Let's hope for a better race next time. But I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.